your hand up. Councillor Hennessy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. 10.1, the Gawler Barossa Jockey Club discretionary rebate. I thank the Jockey Club for the information that's been provided and the public forum announcement tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for the answer, Sharon. Yeah, look, I'm going to speak to the motion. Just before I do, I do want to point out I was pretty disappointed with the way I saw that debate start, where Councillor Shanks had his hand up for 5 seconds before Councillor Hennessy, and he got completely ignored. And I think it's pretty well known that Councillor Shanks has been handing this topic, and I'm calling this out because we've spent quite a bit of resources on team building, and to see it just fall apart in front of my eyes, very, very disappointing. But I will speak against the motion at the moment.
Councillor Shanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Next time I'll make sure I stand up so you see me when I'm trying to move something.
Concerns about the original motion. What we need to understand is that a commercial activity is happening down there, regardless of the ownership structures and who's doing what. If that facility wasn't there, there would be no racing. There would be no Sky Channel beaming into Hong Kong or whatever. So somebody is making a commercial benefit from that. That's a reality. We can't close our eyes to that. And yes, it is a not-for-profit, but the members are benefiting somehow. I mean,
how are you going to partner with this council that didn't actually look at what you are? Because we're confused that some of the race meets are televised across the globe that people can gamble on. But we can't get it through our heads that gambling money, those dividends, don't come back into the club. They don't go to the ratepayer that pays for this. Absolutely, punters have the opportunity to go and benefit from these grounds, that we all have the opportunity to do, and we can place bets, and we can use their electricity. We can park in their car parks and benefit from these things. But the money that goes to TAB, Sky News, all the Sky Racing and the rest of it does not filter back the way you think it does.
Yes, Councillor Hennessy. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I guess a follow-up question then to that through the Mayor. Tony, has the club approached the Valuer General to get a different valuation on the land? I mean, have you made the argument to the state government about that?
Maybe go talk to the Valuer General. That doesn't change your bottom figure of the budget. That just makes someone else give the discretion, but your budget stays the same.
we have struggling families in our community. Last year, we decided to have a deficit budget, and a lot of that was because of the cost of living pressures on the community, on people. In fact, we were told that some people can't even put food on their tables, so we actually had a deficit budget.
And Councillor Koch, please don't give me the no food on the table argument here, because the Jockey Club have told us that if we put up their rates now, they're going to have to lay off staff members. They've told us this. And if you want to talk about no food on the table, there's a direct impact that we would have played a part in. The other thing I want to say is doing the numbers, if we look at the transition plan and how that would look, we would be looking at a hypothetical $133,000 that we wouldn't be collecting because we're phasing it out. Now that is purely hypothetical because right now, let's not talk about the money we've lost over the last 10 years. $133,000 is what we're looking at if we do the 20% increase. Because we made a mistake. I can go down the rabbit hole of the amount of money we've spent as a council on legal fees because elected members have made mistakes. And I can guarantee that over the last 10 years, it's more than $133,000. And that's the truth.
However, I'm not sure I can comfortably justify such a huge increase in rates to one ratepayer, with the argument being that we need this revenue, so that people in our town can eat. I mean, what happened to the last 10 years before people knew this was an option? Nothing, right? So let's talk about the merit of this particular item and not talk about everything other than this particular item.
And also, I just want to say that the community looks very closely at what we do in this chamber, very, very closely, and they will form their views on all of us. And you know what? When it comes to elections, that's when people form their views at the ballot box. So I think you need to be very careful, you know, where you stand on providing support for the people in our community when it comes to rates and rate relief.
There's, you know, and going back to the comment about opinions being formed at the ballot box, I mean, we have had an opportunity for some years now to have real economic development in the town. We have a serious problem about our rates mix and where the revenue is coming from in our town, and that opportunity hasn't been taken. I think that people did respond to that at the ballot box of the last election, and that's what we're here to do. I'm glad that we're finally moving in that direction and seeing it fit to try and get businesses interested in investing in our town.
And if we go ahead and ignore them, we could lose an extremely valuable asset for our town and really, I think, put offside a community organisation that provides great benefit to our town and probably shows the Gawler community, if we're going to talk about elections, how we value the mistakes that we make versus the mistakes that others make. So for that reason, I'm not going to be supporting the current motion.
And we allowed this to happen. And I am saying, hey guys, realistically, we made a mistake. Not because I want votes. I don't even know if I'm running again in 2026. That's not where I am, and that's not where I've ever been, nor should any elected member care about doing the right thing or the wrong thing based on the amount of votes you may receive. It's actually a very dangerous precedent to be setting, in my honest and humble opinion. We want to talk about numbers. My actions got my numbers last election, not the way I campaigned.
Councillor Hennessy, you can close the debate.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually don't think we did make a mistake. I actually, as I said before, we asked staff to go out and review, and we accepted that.
Councillor Hughes?
Yeah, I think Councillor Shanks has read a different report to the report that we've actually got here tonight.
The reality here is this non-for-profit, community-based, volunteer board-led organisation has had their rates doubled overnight. I'm saddened that if we are to listen and we are going, hey, let's just charge what we are recommended to charge, we will be the council that has the jockey club that pays the highest rates. And in some cases, by 10 times on why our jockey club, non-for-profit, out of 24 in the state, is going to be the highest paying one by a country mile.
Councillor Hughes?
And in the same token, we haven't received any payment at all from the Jockey Club up to this stage either. So we've received no rates.
I think there is one quick thing that I do just want to add, which is that there's been a couple of assertions about the Jockey Club not doing what we've asked them to and not complying with what we've asked them to comply with. And I'm speaking again because, frankly, I don't want that to be what's on the record here. If you get a power bill that's incorrect, you don't pay it. If you get a fine that you're going to contest, you don't pay it, because if you've paid it, you can't contest the fine, right? We haven't asked the Jockey Club to pay part of the rates. Our attitude is we shouldn't have to ask them, well, I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. And so I'm not going to sit here in this chamber and listen to that go around, and that's what we put out into our community, that these are somehow horrible people who don't do don't show good faith towards us. I think that, if we're going to, we can't just come in here and accuse them of things. So I just want to put that on the record before we finish up the debate, that we haven't asked them to pay part of the rate, so we shouldn't be sitting here saying that they're horrible people who have no interest in dealing with us in good faith. Thanks.
Councillor Hughes, do you want to speak again? Do you wish to speak again? Have you got leave to speak again? Thank you. Yep.
Well, I'd like to apologise to the Jockey Club if I think I've been portrayed as saying horrible things, but that's the fact. So I just stated the fact, so I hope that's not offensive in any way.
You might sense a bit of frustration, members, and I do apologise in advance. The reality is I've been working on this item since it came to my attention, as in the material effect that this had. As Councillor White pointed out, we made, I believe, a mistake in allowing this to get this far. You've seen my attempts in trying to get conversations happening offline. You've seen the transparent nature in what I've provided you in information. I'll also remind elected members that some of that information that I've, in goodwill, in good faith, provided in regards to this motion include financial statements, providing all the data that you seem to be confused about in relation to where the money comes from for this community non-for-profit group. Also, this conversation has been going on for coming up to 12 months in the later part of this year. Why did an elected member not ask for this information? Some of this information is readily available on the website of this non-for-profit local community club. It's available, should you have the appetite to look for it. Nicole, the CEO, is available for any conversation, should you have the appetite to ask questions. I've provided those contact details, and they're readily available on the local community non-for-profit organisation's website. The rates we're talking about here are $35,000 last year that are going up to $75,000 for this non-for-profit community group. You want to understand where they get their money, read what I've supplied you. Read what they've supplied you. Read their reasoning. Talk to them. Listen to the business-minded people that are presented tonight. I don't disagree that we need to be constantly reviewing. And I don't believe that we can blame staff in relation to trying to review. And we allowed this to happen. And I am saying, hey guys, realistically we made a mistake. Not because I want votes.